So let's get planning. This is my bullet journal. Of course, you could use any journal, line journal, a grid journal, a dot journal, anything as a bullet journal. I use a journal which has dots and therefore it's known as a bullet journal. My bullet journal typically begins with a key, and this is a key which I have borrowed from the creators of the bullet journal, wherein a dot represents a task, a cross represents completed, a round signifies event, asterisk a priority, dash represents notes, exclamation for inspiration. A greater than symbol 2 represents task migration. If I do not do a task, it gets migrated to the next day. It's denoted by a triangular right side, and a left side if it's a task which occurs way too ahead in the future, it goes there. Now I am not using the original bullet journal, therefore I usually write down the width of the dots, which is 25 dots here and 36, so that when I'm drawing out my lines and columns and rows, it helps me to figure out how many dots do I need to calculate each time. I don't have to keep counting them each and every time. Now this is the index. The index is followed with a description of what I am trying to track and the page number. So I could be tracking a certain topic on different days at different times and on different pages. So I could write a particular description and I could write different page numbers. So I'm able to collect all the data in an analogous form with the description and the page number. This is then followed by the yearly calendar. I of course did not write or draw them. I just got them printed, cut them out and stuck them out. So this is a calendar which represents holidays in Singapore, and they are marked with those specific colors on my calendar that I have chosen. The next section is a brain dump section. Now, a brain dump section is a section where I would have any thought that would come to me gets dumped, or it gets written on this spread. I have a 2-page, or have one spread that is 2 pages dedicated for any thought that suddenly occurs to me. So instead of having it in my mind, I just put it out on paper, and I could track this on a weekly, monthly, or a daily basis as and when I think it should get into my planning system. So this is typically how I would track. I would follow up a point. I have my notes here. So the dash represents notes and things that I'm trying to catch up or follow up on. I use a lot of sticky notes because it gives me the flexibility to write my idea on a sticky note, and I could transfer this sticky note to a corresponding date that I'd like to work on. So this sort of gives me the flexibility of moving things around. As you can see, of course, I've manually numbered these pages so that I can track them and put the corresponding numbers in my index. If there's some work-related travel, again, I would write this and number this or put this as exhibitions in the index and write down the corresponding page number in my index. Now, the bullet journal can be used even for tracking certain personal things. For example, I have some quick fix desserts that I'd like to make when I have guests over. So it always helps to have some kind of a quick reference of things here. A typical new month could start with writing down your goals. Now, this could be on a monthly basis or it could be on a yearly basis. Choose what works for you. So you could list down your goals here. Now I have a section which is called a start, stop and continue. So probably every month or every quarter or every once in 6 months or a year, I could start something. There are certain things which probably aren't working in terms of the way I'd like things to progress. So I would look at stopping them and continue what has been working. This is one of the habit tracking systems. Now, green represents probably how I'm progressing. Red represents probably where I'm not progressing. These could be personal, work related, my child related, home related. It could be anything that I am looking at tracking. Now, this is more like an awareness building tool, but definitely not something which amounts to judgment or some sort of self-flagellation. So I would have the dates written here, the rows here, and corresponding days written, and I would just sort of track and reflect on these at the end of each week or at the end of each month. So here's my spread for August, which is blank. I've not filled it in. So it starts with August 2020. I have written the dates 1 to 31 and the first letter of the corresponding day here. The next page are my tasks, which I will fill out after this video. Now this is a spread wherein I've created the monthly calendar. So this starts from 1 to 31. I also make it a point to write down the week numbers so I know where I am placed in a specific week or in the year. So this typically, so my calendar here is for specific events that I would be attending, or for something which is special that I need to remember, or something really important. Tasks comprise of certain things which are really important that I need to accomplish in the month of August or that corresponding month that I'm planning. It definitely is not like a daily event that I need to get a grocery or I need to send out that particular email. Now, this particular calendar would work to plan different tasks. So, for example, if there is a certain class that I need to attend to, or certain webinar that I need to attend, or something very specific to what I would like to remember, those are the ones which go out. I usually use sticky notes and this so that I'm able to move those things around, and that gives me a lot of flexibility. This is more like a sort of, you could call it a habit tracker or some kind of a tracking system. Different color codes represent different things. I haven't written the headings, of course. This is again an awareness building tool to check with myself if I am moving and improving incrementally. I just have added a column or a page on groceries, typically to track the days when I'm out for grocery. What else can I combine with going out? And meal prep, of course, because when you are with a family and a small toddler, meal prepping is very important. Now, the next pages usually will comprise of what I would plan on a weekly basis and then fill out my daily tasks. This is one of the earlier spreads of an earlier month, and this is how typically I would have color coded sticky notes. And this sort of gives me the flexibility that the thing that I've planned for this day, if it does not happen on 6th, I am able to easily move things around to the 7th or the 8th. So this calendar gives me a bird's eye view of what's happening around in that month and what else could I plan for that month. It could be in terms of things for my work or my child or my home. So this really gives me, of course, the sticky notes are color coded as well, representing certain specific things that I'm trying to look at in terms of my planning. So here it is. This is my bullet journal, and this is sort of the planning system that works for me.